All right, welcome to the City Council regular meeting. It is Thursday, July 2nd. It is 6:02 p.m. We're in the Public Safety Building at 105 North 4th Street. And all notices were properly posted. We do have a quorum with only all four except for Pat in attendance. And we will open up with our invocation and our pledge of allegiance.
Go ahead, bow your heads. Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for the ability to hold meetings like this. Lord, we thank you for your providence watching our country, Lord, that we're about to go into 250 years of being a nation, Lord. And we want to recognize, Lord, that you are responsible for this, Lord. And we thank you, Lord, for watching over us and the people of this country, Lord. And continue to bless us, Lord, as we bless others, Lord. We thank you for the wisdom you've imparted on us, Lord. We thank you for the men and women who defend our borders and defend this country in every way, shape, or form, Lord. We thank you for all these things, Lord. Let us always be eternally grateful, Lord. We thank you for all these things in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
2 years later, you don't have to sign.
Okay, we're going to open up citizens' comments, and I do have two that have signed up. Megan, Noel, and then Travis afterward.
Good afternoon. My name is Megan Noel. I live here in Gunter at 180 Knoll Trail, and I'm going to yield my time to my husband, Travis.
Can I put this down or no? Yeah, go ahead. Go through. My name is Travis Noel. I live at 180 Knoll Trail right here in Gunter. Before I say another word, you should know who's speaking to you. I spent more than 8 years in the military in peacetime and combat overseas. I came home to wear a badge as a peace officer in King County, Washington for over 14 years before I moved to this state and this town that I love. I've spent most of my adult life around law. I know what a crime looks like, and I've arrested people for a great less deal than what I'm about to lay out tonight. Every person at this table in front of me got elected on a promise. I wager there isn't one of you, Mayor Southern included, who didn't stand up and promise this kind of accountability. So let's go ahead and have some. On June 4th in this room, Mayor Southern played a recording that came out in a closed executive session in an open meeting in front of Gunter citizens, in front of the Gunter police, while she herself stated herself was being recorded. And she acknowledged out loud that doing so was unlawful. That is not my opinion. That's on the record. Texas Government Code 551.146 makes a closed session recording a crime, Class B misdemeanor, the same as a DUI. The law offers exactly one way out. They have good reason to believe that it wasn't lawful, but that it was lawful. She raised that defense herself the moment she admitted she knew it wasn't. She told herself in public, and every person in this room watched her do it. That's one, here's two. I'm calling tonight for a full investigation into the purchase of this city's EMS vehicles because it appears that purchase was made without competitive process. Texas law requires. Local Government Code 252.021 requires competitive bidding on city contracts over $50,000. I believe it's now $100,000. If a city officer knowingly went around that process, Section 252.062 makes it a Class B misdemeanor. And Section 252.063 states that a conviction removes that person from office immediately and bars them from holding office for 4 years. 2 crimes, one of them admitted out loud in this room, so I have one simple question for everyone here. How do we look at a citizen in this town in the eye, arrest them, prosecute them, hold them to the letter of the law, while we let the person at the highest seat in Gunter skirt it? Either the law applies to all of us or applies to none of us. There is no third option. And there is no version where we get to look the other way and still call ourselves an honest town. So here's what I'm asking the council to do tonight. Direct Chief Jones of the Gunter Police Department to hand this investigation to an outside sister agency. Not to bury it, not to protect it. That shields our officers of any accusation of biased policing and protects this department from being dragged through one more rumor that it didn't earn. 2, order an independent forensic audit of the mayor's office. Full transparency. Let the truth kill the small town rumor mill and let this community see the facts for itself. Use every lawful power this council and these citizens have to remove Karen Sutter from the mayor's office. And when there is cause, cut off her access to the city, every key, every account, every file, anything tangible and anything digital belonging to Gunter. Make no mistake, this is not about one person's feelings. This is about whether the law in Gunter means something for everyone. I'm standing here because I swore an oath. More than once in my life to defend it, and I meant it every single time. We should take this to our Creator in prayer, and we should do the work He expects the people who claim to fear Him. Tell the truth. Hold the powerful to the same standards as we hold the powerless. I'm submitting a signed sworn statement of these facts to the city secretary and to the law enforcement tonight. I'm asking it to be acted upon. One more thing, and then I'll yield my time. Mayor Sutter campaigned on honor and integrity. Every person at this table in front of me, I believe, did the same. So look at how this city's business is being scheduled. The budget meeting, the most consequential meeting this council holds all year, has been set for 8 o'clock on Tuesday morning. The one member in the council who's a licensed attorney, the one person at the table professionally trained to catch exactly the kind of legal failures I just laid out, cannot be there at that hour. And that conflict was known before the date was chosen. When scheduling becomes a weapon, that's not an administration, that's an exclusion. The people of Gunter elected every seat at the table in front of me. Not every seat, but one. All of them. So in closing, I ask one question. Mayor, if honor and integrity were the promise, why does every decision seem designed to silence the one person who's most equipped to hold you to it? Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that wanted to speak on citizen comments that didn't have a chance to sign up? Okay. Rick, you just came in. Did you want to speak?
I made it under time too. Believe me, I got more. Sorry,
Eric, do you mind, Rick, did you want to speak? Okay, do you mind taking the microphone to him? Or Mark, anybody?
I got it.
My name is Rick Henderson. I'm at 209 West Cedar. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I have lived with the consequences of this city's decision for more than 5 years. In 2021, a welfare check was requested at my home. The police chief chose not to enter my residence, stating that he was protecting my privacy. I remained unconscious for days. By the time I was finally found, I was in septic shock and suffering from necrotizing fasciitis. I spent months in a coma, underwent 27 surgeries, and now live with permanent disabilities. The consequences do not end with me. After my family was told I had died in the hospital, my son attempted to take his own life. Thankfully, he survived, but no family should ever have to endure that kind of trauma. I hoped my case would become a turning point for the city. Instead, years later, I continue to see promises made but not kept. 2 years ago, I was promised that the city park would be made ADA compliant. That promise still has not been fulfilled. Residents with disabilities deserve the same opportunity to enjoy the community as everyone else. The written wellness check policy that was promised 3 years ago has still not been published or implemented to my knowledge. Residents continue to report potholes and damaged road signs while the city approves significant pay increases and discusses expanding government. When citizens raise concerns, they deserve respect, not to be told they have fake narratives or to be called idiots. We are your constituents. We are your neighbors. Our concerns are real. Now the city is asking the public to trust it with a new EMS service. I support excellent emergency medical care. What I question is whether the city has demonstrated the accountability necessary to take on another life and death responsibility. Before asking for more trust, I believe the city should first demonstrate that it has learned from its past. Make the city park ADA compliant, publish and implement the written wellness check policy, fix the roads and replace damaged road signs, ensure that public safety leaders are hired through thorough professional background investigations that include appropriate supervisory references. And in saying that, I just wanted to say that the chief of police that was hired before my incident, the reference that was called for him was actually his, like below him, 3 positions, not above him, so they didn't. If they would have checked stuff like social media or the news, they would have seen that he was having an issue with the city that he was working at, and that 14-year-old girl had died on his watch. Allegedly his fault, but I'm not going to say one way or another because I wasn't there. I didn't observe anything. So, and then support the new city manager and give that form of government every opportunity to succeed. Most importantly, treat every resident with dignity and respect. I cannot get my health back. I cannot get those lost years back. I can't get my business back. And there's even some relationships I can't get back. I was in the hospital for an entire year. But perhaps my experience can help prevent another family from enduring what mine has. The people of Gunter deserve a government that keeps its promises, earns its trust, and values every life it is sworn to protect. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you, Rick. Is there anybody else who wants to speak on citizen comments tonight? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to close it at 6:15. I'm going to make a factual statement in regards to comments tonight. The budget workshop was timelined and set early in the middle of May. It has been put on every agenda to notify everybody since. It was not set by me. It was set by administrative staff based on very strict guidelines with the state of Texas on when you can do things and when you can't. So if it was a problem for William, he could have addressed that when we posted the timeline in the beginning. The other statement I will make is I did not say that I was doing something illegal. What I played was done in executive session, and I played that. What is done in executive session, if it is not accepted by the state to be an executive session, to be said in executive session, is not protected, and I have a right to play it. So those are my 2 comments. We're going to move on to our Director of Parks and Public Services report.
So then why did I get my hands up when I said something out here in executive session? Just asking.
Because it was actually related to something that happened in executive session that was part of the section of being discussed.
What was
and
the question?
Who was in it.
Yeah.
What was the question that was asked so that we can all hear it, please?
I asked why did then I get my hand slapped when I said something that took place in executive session out here, and that was her answer.
Okay.
It was a topic of executive session.
And what about the nasty letter that
Illegal.
Dave Self got?
It was also a topic of executive session. Adam,
All
you
right.
got an update?
Yeah, I got a couple things. Is this on? I guess it is.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Real quick, just July 4th celebration. Just want to update the council on that. I am on the chamber, so I'm doing that in place of TK or Brandy tonight. Council, of course, you're invited to the celebration Saturday. I think Deidre has VIP parking passes for everybody. She's probably already handed out, or maybe, but all council has parking passes. So you're welcome to get those. We're almost at capacity from a vendor standpoint. Our capacity is 50. So next year we're already trying to figure out how we would take in more people. I'm excited. Chick-fil-A will be there. So that made me excited. I don't know what that says about me. I need to not eat Chick-fil-A probably. There's stuff for the kids. There's face painting. There's a mermaid experience. I don't know what that is, but I think that would have occurred in May during the rains. But evidently there's a mermaid experience. I really want to thank the police and the fire department, public works. A lot of planning the amount of planning, it's really impressive. It is not my forte. The emergency route, access, parking, all this. Police and Cameron and the police department did an excellent job working through all those logistics. There's a lot of logistics that go into moving people around the 4th and safety issues. One thing different this year is we are doing bus shuttling from the high school because it's such a problem with so many cars parking on Preston. So we're trying to alleviate some of that parking. And so working with Dr. Enos and the school district, we will be shuttling from the school throughout the entire event. So I think that's something except during the fireworks themselves. So I think that's sort of exciting, something new. The park, we put out about 1,200 bags of mulch this week for the playground because it needs to be up to snuff. Repaired a couple things. On the streets, had a pre-con. Everybody's been waiting for Autry, myself included. Had a pre-con for Autry today. The supplier delivered the pipe. It's been a 2-month wait. Just manufacturing these pipes, so if you get a chance, they're rather huge. They're delivered today, and we start Monday on Autry. They'll be removing concrete. I will send something out to the residents either tonight after the council or in the morning, letting them know, all the residents that signed up, what's going on in the timeline, so they'll understand what's going out. And it won't be any more inconvenience to them than it has been. They'll still provide a lane in and out, a single lane. That is one of the challenges of this job, is when we pull out the concrete, the pipe has to be done in 4 sections instead of 2 to allow for in and out egress and ingress. A couple more things for those that have seen the preserve coming online. Once again, those streets are not public yet, so they aren't public, but I did reach out to the engineers, and we are going to put a 3-way stop. It was a single stop, but I really think it needs 2 more stop signs. So we're going to do a 3-way stop at East Oak, both the continuing of East Oak coming into 9th Street, the original East Oak, and 9th Street itself. So that will be a 3-way stop eventually, that intersection. Drainage study phase 2, we've received just recently the necessary signature. So Eric and myself will move forward with the second part of that drainage study. We've sort of been waiting a little while on that, but I'm glad it'll be moving forward. Meadows drainage survey and modeling are complete for the Meadows, the operations of that detention mechanism. It's being reviewed by their hydrology engineer next week, and I should have an update on findings hopefully at the next council meeting. Roadway impact fee, the fee and formula research has been done, so they'll be coordinating with staff. I know Jeannie Anderson has presented me with an ordinance, and so we'll be creating a timeline to show to the council how we move forward to establish that ordinance and the necessary committee that goes with that ordinance. And then trash services, I worked with Pro Tem, I want to say Pro Tem Wade, I couldn't remember your last name, Mayor Pro Tem and Alderman Hemby. And I just reached out to them on what I considered areas that maybe there could be improvements for the residential trash services. And so I'm working with the provider to generate some cost estimates if we change a couple of the services that I believe might provide better accommodations for some of the residents. And that is all I have.
Thank you, Adam. Director of Planning and Development, Eric.
I do have a few things, probably not as exciting as Adam's. Never are, but I do want to bring some things to
The bridges part.
the city council. Yeah. Please. So that was close on computer. this because this, as they say, picture speaks 1,000 words. Might have to get out of here, book his magic for me again. Okay. So one of the first things I want to talk about is something I think some of the council members might not be aware of. I know some of you are, and then the mayor is, but on the Bridges 2A, originally when they were going through the developer agreement and some early on discussions, there was discussions that there would be a masonry screening fence. And typically that would be the case. There would also be a 40-foot landscape buffer. Or during some of the design processes as they're going through the actual construction documents, there was right-of-way acquisition that was taken by TxDOT. So the right-of-way ended up being right along the edge of where the retaining walls were going to end up being. And on top of that, there's required Mustang utility easements as well. So in talking with them during the time, there were some differences of thought on what the developer agreement actually said after it came back to do it. So the solution was to put, since they couldn't, TxDOT would not allow a masonry screen fence in their right of way. They typically don't allow plant material either, but because I know about a green ribbon project that has plant material in right of way, I had the developer ask the engineers, ask TxDOT to make sure that they could get permission in order to plant the plant material that's out there right now. It's technically in TxDOT right of way, and they gave permission to do so. So to try to solve the issue that some have with not having solid screening, being concerned about seeing the back of some of the houses along those alleys, the vegetation was increased as far as tree canopy, but those trees are going to take a few years to actually expand out and grow, as well as the shrub plantings that are along there, and the smaller ornamental trees will all fill in. But as a stopgap or more early, faster process establishment, the developer is requesting to do, if you see that magenta line that runs in between the red shrub plantings and the tree canopy trees, they propose to plant what's called crossvine to cover and screen and become what some call a living screen along that whole border there. So this is a cross section of what we're dealing with here. You can see all those trees and everything. That's kind of the section how it drops down grade, as you all can tell, to that from the TxDOT right away 121 to the retaining walls down to the alley to the houses. This is essentially kind of what the beginnings of crossvine looks like. On radar, it's the only examples I could really find online, but eventually it would create a full context. In most cases, that whole thing will be covered with that type of vine in those areas that I indicated on that. So along the whole 121 frontage, that's what they're proposing as a solution to create more immediate screening. And as a landscape architect, I think it's a good solution. And
It's a lot more sound resilient being plants as opposed to being brick.
it would be, there's many ordinances in cities that do require masonry right along every street, and it ends up just being very monolithic looking and not as, probably as pretty as this would be. But again, that's what the ordinance says, that they, the only reason they didn't do a masonry wall now is for the reasons I described before, because we're, things before we got here, basically.
In your opinion, is that the best we can do?
I think so, that's the best solution, to make screening sooner rather than later, within a year or so, to create the screening that's desired until the trees and the canopies, because like I say, they planted probably about 40% more trees than we're technically required per linear foot. It's just that it's going to take a while for 3-inch canopy trees to get full canopies.
Correct.
And you can't just start planting them close together right now, because that would look stupid later on. When you're planting trees that have 35-foot canopies and you're planting them 10 foot apart, it makes no sense. And this crossvine grows rather rapidly. And of course, the HOA is the one responsible for taking care of it.
Is the high picket fence on the other side, is it grandfathered in?
That's Godwin's. I don't know anything. Yeah.
Okay.
That was on there already. So, and it's actually, I think the board on board that you see is actually back off of what is a commercial track on that hard corner too.
Yes.
So when the commercial comes in, God whenever develops it, it would have to be replaced with masonry. And then they would take down the wood fence and work with homeowners because we don't allow double fencing. So I just wanted to bring that up because the developer wanted to just kind of, I told him, I said, well, it sounds like a great solution to me, but let me just run it through council, and if they have any issues with it before you actually pull the trigger and start doing this, they can call and let me know. So that's what I'm asking. So you don't have a problem with it, let's all go on it.
The foundation to a masonry wall would encroach into TxDOT, and that's where we're running into.
A screening fence would be in TxDOT right away because they didn't design their the retaining wall is right on TxDOT right away, so they have to go off of it into the TxDOT right away. Can't go on top of the retaining walls.
Because we all know the TxDOT's so reasonable.
Met with them yesterday, so sometimes yes, sometimes no. But okay, so that's one issue I wanted to show you. Another one is I know a lot of you live in Bridges or heard that there's a amenity center that was part of the developer agreement. The mechanism triggered for when this is supposed to start or be constructed is at 50 building permits. They're starting to get close to that. Now they have 2A going and things are going vertical there, plus 2B is almost accepted and ready to go. I've been pressing on them because I don't want them to wait till they're at 50. All of a sudden decided they want to turn in plans. So for the past year, I've been working with their landscape architect and Centurion American to get this schematic, get the design done. They do have that now. This is what you see here, the amenity center with a pool and some cabanas and parking, and then the loop trail with landscaping around there and a playground, which I know you're all going to go, yeah, it's purple. Yes, it is. But it's just schematic at this point in time. Maybe it will be, maybe it won't be. But anyway, so that's a playground will go in there as well. The original design that I saw and approved, several months ago was a little bit more robust, but I think they got some bids on it. It was much more expensive, and then I said, well, let's reduce down some of the plantings and stuff out in the green belt, in the green areas and whatnot, because we definitely don't want to reduce down the physical structures in the amenity center in lieu of just having better plant materials that they could probably add later on. I'd love to have like a butterfly garden or some native grasses and stuff in here. So they are going to keep that larger center area. It's going to be more buffalo grass and native and not Bermuda. It takes tons of irrigation because that's another problem we run into is Mustang Suds water restrictions. There's the amenity center, clubhouse, and then I wish they were in color, but they're not. You can kind of see that top left elevation kind of shows you where the trellis porch is, and then the pass-through entrance, and then the windows on the right. That's the main amenity center, and on the other side is the restaurant facility and such.
How big is the amenity center? Square foot?
It's like around, I think the actual enclosed portion is around 1,800 square feet, I think. So it's usable, and I'm sure you could use it for parties. I'll check for sure. I don't remember exactly the square footage on it. They were all interior air conditioned. And that's basically all I wanted to show you tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Move on to Mayor Alderman report. Do you guys have anything?
The only thing I've got to say is I'm going to be passing out slingshots at the 4th. And I would appreciate some parental guidance. We're going to be providing this small marshmallows, so hopefully the kids will have fun with them. I had to get rid of the rest of them, so nobody, but great place to do it.
Hey, Mayor, I have one more thing you might want to hear.
Okay.
Okay. And I thought Eric was going to segue into it, but he didn't.
There was a setup.
Slingshots.
You guys were working on a setup?
Yeah.
No, I thought you were. I thought just because Eric referenced it briefly, just to let you know. So Eric, Cameron, and I met with both the GISD and TxDOT yesterday to look at Preston Crossing and 121. And honestly, it was the best meeting we've had with TxDOT. It actually gave us a pathway to signalization, I would say. That's the first time we've really ever had that. So it was pretty exciting, and it was good working with the GISD. It was really a good meeting. So, and we met with TxDOT several times, and this is the first time I was like, okay, we may actually get something done here. So just to let you know.
Both entities there,
Yeah,
knowing that it's an issue, and then not letting them skate around it like no one of them like to do sometimes.
Yeah.
Press the questions of, hey, but what about this?
Well, I stood in the cell, and after the NPO meeting, really kind of pushed Noel. They're like, thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, and we agreed we'll have a point of contact moving forward. I guess it's me. And so we're going to continue to push that ball forward. We'll be talking to council. There's obviously funding mechanisms involved in this. But we saw a clear pathway, I thought. I felt we did.
It's all about
Money.
Yeah. But just to let you know, they did have the warrant study. It just hadn't been given to TxDOT yet, so TxDOT has it, but we do think, based on what I heard, do you agree, Eric? We meet the warrant criteria.
Yeah, because what we found out was more information that there are actually 3 tiers of warrant. And as long as you can meet that lowest one for our situation.
If you meet any of the criteria, then you're qualified. You could get a warrant for signals.
And then we found out that they would not support reducing down the quality or type of signalization. They wanted the more permanent metal poles with the foundations and the masts. So we just have to be sure if that happens, those cost more and they take longer lead time to order. But we located in the correct spot based on future right-of-way plans. We have 95% schematics, so if they do that, the surveyor will have something to go off of to make sure they can look at it. Plus 2A's in already, which is what I told them. I said, 2A's right in, you're tied down from one control point already. That's where we can put it, so.
Just I didn't want to know that it was a
And then Mayor, I have something. The audit is started again, so. Yeah, yep, and I completed the preliminary portion of it yesterday.
Good, stay on time. The only thing that I have is I wanted to mention Randy Wayne Kirk served a lot of years with the Gunter Volunteer Fire Department. I believe the funeral was today. I just learned of this. We didn't know that this happened several days ago. But I'd like to offer our condolences of the city to his family and friends, and thank him for many, many, many years of service, including assistant fire chief, So if there's nothing else, then we'll move on to our public hearing. Item number 5. Jordan, would you like to explain just a little bit about 5 and 6? We're going to open these public hearings, and then they're requesting that we need to take a vote to continue them to July 16th.
Yeah.
In case anybody wants to speak during this one, we'll allow it, but maybe you'll just kind of request.
Absolutely, yeah, Mayor, Council, Jordan Sawyer, 50 Works, Regional Director, work for y'all as the Administrator. So for 5 and 6, these are related to the Taylor branch and the Platinum branch, I almost forgot that one. Bond sales and levy of assessment. With the holiday being celebrated tomorrow, the underwriters let us know that they would not be able to actually process those orders. And so in order, the original plan was to come tonight, hold a public hearing related to assessments and levy of bonds, but since they couldn't actually sell those bonds, they've asked that we open the hearing, continue it to the next meeting, at which time we'll move forward with it. So there's nothing, this is really purely a timing issue. The statute requires we call a public hearing, we give notice of the hearing. All of those were out before the schedule got updated, so we just are opening the hearing. Again, if someone wants to speak, they can speak now. The hearing will be continued and held open until the next meeting. So happy to answer questions, and then Lucas in my office will also be talking about the next item too. Just want to introduce him.
So we'll go ahead and open it, we just won't close them, but we'll open up Taylor Ranch at 6:36. So is there anyone who would like to speak on this public hearing? Okay, seeing none, then we need to take a vote to continue it to July 16th. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Okay, Alan with the first to continue.
I'll second
William with the second, all in favor?
Aye.
That's unanimous. We move on to number 6, and that will be the same type of hearing, except for this one is for Platinum Ranch. We're going to open it at 6:36. Is there anybody who would like to speak? Seeing none, then we will vote to continue this to July 16th at 6:36.
Make a motion for that one also.
Okay, Alan with the first, move to July 16th.
I'll second.
William with the second, all in favor?
it. Aye.
That's unanimous. We move on to number 7. This is a resolution, gosh, I don't know if we keep doing these. Do you want to summarize this real quick?
Yeah.
This one's actually, this one's for the preserve.
Yes.
The big preserve.
Absolutely. Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council. My name is Luke Ham. I'm also with P3 Works as the city's head administrator. Like Mayor mentioned, this is another preliminary service and assessment plan that's in front of you today. This one's for the Preserve Public Improvement District, so that's just up the road from here. It's 209 homes, all scheduled to be built in one phase. as single-family residential. So as you can see in this preliminary service and assessment plan, it's about $18 million worth of horizontal improvements. Includes your typical roads, water, storm, sewer, etc. type of improvements. And so breaking down the $18 million number, we're looking at about $10.7 million of authorized improvements. And that just means improvements that are authorized to get paid through the PID. And then about $7 million worth of private improvements that the developer is still obligated to build under the development agreement, but aren't authorized to be funded through the PID. So if interest rates come in at the exact same rate that was used to put together this preliminary service and assessment plan, we'd be looking at about $9.75 million worth of bonds to cover a portion of those authorized improvements, and then the developer would have to privately fund about $8.5 million of the rest. So happy to answer any questions y'all might have about this development.
So I have a question, Jordan. I just want to make sure I understood what you told us. So roughly then, if I add those numbers up you gave, $25 million worth of development is going to be done in the preserve. 18 of it will be funded by the PID, and the rest of it the developer is paying for out of his pocket.
Similar to that, we're looking at about $18 million worth of total costs.
Roughly.
Yeah, roughly. 10.7 is.
Not holding you to a penny, I just want to get the concept down.
Yes, yeah. Yes, sir.
What do you think?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion approved. Do I have a second?
Do we need to discuss? I'll second it. I have another question. We've done several PID resolutions on the reserve, and honestly, I've lost track of them. How many are there?
So the reason why there have been so many that come to council is originally the PID was created back in the past. I don't remember the exact date, but then there had to be an amendment to the boundary of the PID. Essentially, they were pulling out a small commercial tract at the bottom. So that's what they had to dissolve the old PID, create the new PID, and then this is the preliminary service assessment plan, the resolution for that. So that's why each one of those things had to come to council, which is why it's been in front of you.
This is a PID for the residential, excluding the commercial.
Yes, so the developer's actually going to pay for a portion of the public improvement costs. Part of the private improvement cost is them paying for a portion of those costs that the commercial tract is going to benefit from. But yes, the commercial tract got pulled out.
So this resolution is only determining the particular cost elements that are associated with the PID that we dissolved and put back together a couple of meetings back.
Correct. Yeah, it's just setting the cap for the costs that they can get reimbursed for.
This is just refining details.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, residential and not including commercial, which was dissolved.
Which the commercial was never going to be assessed in the PID anyway. It's just that person that purchased it didn't want it attached to it whatsoever.
Right. I remember that conversation. So I'll continue to make a motion to approve.
Call for the question.
Okay, so I had Alan with the first, Willie with the second. All in favor?
Aye.
That's unanimous. And then last one, Jordan, if you want to explain, this we've done this one too, saying having the ability to operate based on the agreement.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, so this, and again, speaking as the administrator, not as the attorney, but as former attorney, this is an agreement between the city and Mustang Side for the water and sewer. Just like the other PIDs, Mustang Side is going to be owning and operating those water and sewer going forward. They'll be paying for those ongoing maintenance costs as well. So this is the interlocal agreement that allows for a improvement that's paid for via the assessments to be owned and operated by a third party. So it's I didn't work on that specific agreement, but I believe it would be the same form that's in all the other ones because that's a very standardized form across the state.
Open for discussion.
Okay, Alan with the first, open.
I'll second.
Okay, Willie with the second.
franchise fees on, okay. Easier to ask.
And we even address that with legal, with our bond attorney and our water lawsuit attorney, what happens if, depending on the outcome of that suit, is there anything else we need to do to protect ourselves? And the answer was no. That this won't interfere with what happens. It shouldn't. You understand that? Okay. But they felt confident that we can move forward, not have to worry about water lawsuit.
I don't have anything else, anybody else? Make a motion to approve?
Now, with the first reading, the second on favor. That is unanimous. We want to number 9.
Y'all happy Fourth.
Thank you so much,
We'll
Julie.
see you.
Very week off too. Happy Fourth. Thank you. Number 9, Eric, you mentioned that the applicant wanted to pull this.
Yes.
Or bring it back later.
Yeah, we'll bring it back. He's on vacation. The engineer, Jim Knight with KFM Engineering is representing the landowner. He wanted to be here to kind of present it and discuss it with council, the purpose of why they're doing this, and also maybe show a concept plan that they have developed.
This is the one west of town?
Yeah. It's got very good frontage on the future North Dallas Toll and stuff, so as well as some residential. Some it's in Denton County right now, and this portion, the northeast corner of it is in our ETJ, so there's some nuances to what they have to do, being in 2 different jurisdictions like that, but he wanted to be here to kind of explain it and show y'all more. So he's asking for it to be tabled.
So really just going to take no action.
Just no action.
No action on
So, hang on for just a second. Number 10, discuss consider upon reappointing planning and zoning, place 2 to be assigned.
And I'm not going to say I groveled or anything I did, but she had a change of heart, I think, after thinking about it a little bit more. She's has been a valuable member so far because of the perspective she brings on her professional background and stuff like that. So I asked her to reconsider and stay on and not make me suffer. So.
Well,
Actually, we wanted her there to keep an eye on you, make you suffer.
There are P&Z members that do enjoy the suffering.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve her reappointment.
Okay, so I'll open the first 2 reappoint.
I'll second.
Bill with the second. All in favor?
I'll abstain. I don't know her and have no position one way or the other.
Same thing, I'd rather abstain. People seem to be resigning and then coming back.
2-0, and that motion carries. So we're on to number 11, discussion regarding masterpiece schedule.
You had 2 abstentions. You don't have a quorum if we both abstain.
There's a quorum here.
No,
So
we
Courtney.
vote.
No?
On the back.
So we put it back on that.
Yeah.
Masterpiece schedule.
Yeah, we don't have anything really to discuss. I just want to say that we're continuing to work on it. We're going to start moving forward, hopefully, with the ordinance. But we've reviewed all the fees and try to get the ordinance done before full budget. But there's some other things on fire mitigation that we found that we need to start adding and have fees for. And then there's a few things that are actually technically missing fees that we kind of slide under, things like roof replacements, little incidental type things that we're trying to determine, what the fee should be for that, as opposed to putting under kind of a miscellaneous type thing. Right now, if someone replaces a roof and they're just doing the felt and the shingles, we don't necessarily have a true fee for that unless they replace roof decking, then it kind of throws it to a different category, which doesn't often happen. So we're going through that just a little bit more, but we're hoping to move forward with this as quickly as we can here pretty soon. To get our fees adjusted. Followed by somewhere in August at this point, I think.
Okay. So, do you have questions, discussion about it at this point?
Questions we talked about it again.
At a later date?
Yeah.
So no action, we'll bring it back, and when it's ready. Number 12, discussion regarding current and future portable temporary concrete patch plants.
Here we go.
So this
I
is
didn't bring
one,
this.
yeah, this is the one that I wanted to bring in too, and I think Eric and I, you and I talked about this, to where just want to make sure that when we look at the DAs, you know, I'm not trained in your eyes. I don't know some of the terms that they might use, to where we want to make sure that when we have the DAs brought, or when they bring them to you, that, okay, great, we know that, you know, if we have a temporary batch plant in there, it's brought to our attention, or there's other things that we may not understand that we have a concern on, that it be kind of highlighted, I guess, for us.
Okay.
So that we see. That was pretty much it. There was
At
no-
this point in time, that's the only admitted developer agreement that has that. However, we are working on the permitted land use tables, and that's not in there right now, as I think you're all aware. So we're going to look to add that as a temporary use permit. So, because not everyone's going to have a development where they have to go through a developer agreement, and they're going to want to be able to utilize that. But we will still have it as a temporary use permit, which is like a specific use permit, which will have to go through the public hearing process through P&Z and then for council approval. And that way you can look at it and see conditionally if it works where they're asking to do it or if it doesn't.
Yeah.
And so then that's how most municipalities handle it.
Yeah.
Because again, but if a developer agreement does come out or a minute developer agreement, I'll be sure to point out certain specifics as it regards to land use.
Thank you.
Move on to number 13, discussion regarding policy of city council closed sessions. So,
Are we on 14 now?
13.
13.
I don't even know.
This is not mine. I didn't put this on the agenda.
Will it meet William? Okay. He put his notes in the wrong place.
Okay.
Well, this is the one that we had taken up a couple of weeks back, that we were gonna slow down when we go to executive session and make sure we actually understand what the exception is. We vote on whether we agree to it or not, and then we go to executive session. We don't just slam the gavel down and rush back to the back room. So we need to have a city policy put together that explains that. And we probably need some simple parliamentary procedures to be able to make it clear on how we should be casting votes and calling for votes. That would probably be helpful for everyone, so we know what the procedure is. I can bring that up on 16 when we get down to that.
Now, 13.
We good?
But yeah, we can roll it all into 16.
Okay, number 14, discuss consider act on an ordinance authorizing and establishing tier signatures and counter signature requirements for disbursements.
So I want to make a motion that we move this to the next meeting because Patrick's not here. And Adam may have some extra information to give both of us, so we can't really. I can, but of course Patrick's not here, so we can't give a joint report.
I'll second that, then move it to the next meeting.
Agree?
Yes.
Okay, so, is that 16? What is that?
Yeah, the next
You
is
said it's
16.
16, okay. So I've got William with the first, who seconded?
I do.
Okay, William with the second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so now we continue to 716, number 15, discuss consider act on the ordinance repealing ordinance number 2023 and number 2101, cancellation provisions.
Yeah, this is the same one we talked about last time. It's the one that changes the ability to just cancel a meeting without any justification.
I'd like to speak on that. Well, are we talking about?
Let me make a motion. Let me make a motion to accept it, so you can second it to discuss it. So I'll make a motion that we accept the ordinance the way I wrote it, without the additional comments that got inserted
Legal.
by
So I have
by
William with the
coordinates.
first.
Yes.
I'll second it for discussion.
Okay, so open for discussion.
Okay, so your question.
I had a question about, is this talking about meetings being twice a month or once a month?
No, it didn't touch that. This was about when a meeting gets called, there are provisions for canceling it. But if a meeting's called statutorily by 3 aldermen, it can't be canceled. And an
Okay, 'cause
ordinance,
I remember Wade
and it
was-
clarifies that a city ordinance does not override a state statute.
Yeah, Wade was talking about trying to reduce the number of meetings, and I thought this was.
Yeah, no, this was different. We haven't even put that on the agenda yet.
Currently, both of those items were passed in this ordinance, but what I was proposing to change didn't affect the meeting schedule, it only affected the cancellation procedure. And really, most of the language is there to reiterate state law and reaffirm state law trumps city ordinances. City ordinances can't undo state laws. So that's the bulk of what's in that ordinance, the proposal. And it was,
State law, state statute trumps all ordinances.
yes,
Yes.
always.
Okay.
Unless the state specifically
So there's
says
some
you're allowed to
problems
make
in this
ordinances in here. Yes.
Yeah.
There's some serious problems with this ordinance. I agree that it was, never should have been passed in the first place, instead of on 21-23.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
I was reading into it, I guess, a little bit differently when Wade was talking about getting us back down to 1 meeting a month, and my thought was,
different.
Yeah,
let's
it's just
just
one.
leave it the way it is.
So we would have to have another ordinance for that.
Yeah.
And it would affect the same ordinance. This ordinance that I'm saying that we're changing also has 2 meetings in it, so we'd have to come back and affect this ordinance again too.
Yeah. And per Detroit, we can't do anything until late August, September, to go back to 1 meeting.
Part of the office.
And by that, you mean logistically, right? We just.
Yes, logistically, we can't really.
And I'd
until
like to get Hayden's
September.
input on a lot
Now,
of these
and
things.
I'll say this,
Yeah.
if we leave it with 2 and just don't use them every month, that's always easy.
I agree with that. That keeps us from having to have a special meeting.
And I don't remember now, because it's been a little while since I wrote that proposal, but I think I put that in there, that we could
Yeah,
cancel meetings
let's-
that we don't need.
It gets our serious
Yes.
business on our
Yes,
third.
but what I put in there was that it was canceled by the group, not one person deciding that they're gonna cancel a meeting.
So then maybe we can just I would
Let's
say
just
keep
table
talking
table
about
this one
this.
until later.
We'll keep talking about it, where then maybe we can fit in that, yes, we have the right to cancel the first Thursday meeting if we,
Well, we always had that, right? So
Yeah.
as long as it's a
Never used
regular,
it.
as long as it's a regular meeting, you can always say we're not gonna have the next meeting. It's when you go the other direction, it's the
Yeah.
problem, because when you go the other direction, you have to have 4 people for a quorum.
Right.
If you leave it
Better have
regular
too
and
many
don't
than
use
not
it,
enough.
right.
yeah,
Yes.
If you leave it as a regular meeting and don't use it, we don't need to change the statute,
okay,
the ordinance, sorry.
yeah. Okay,
But as far as the issue of not canceling, I mean, we can act on that now, if everybody's in agreement with that.
well, yeah, it's just we've never canceled the first Thursday.
No, I'm talking about canceling meetings that aldermen
Oh.
call, when you call them, this
I'd like to
this
get
is
Pat's
about,
in- I'd like to
Yeah.
get
this
Pat's
is about
input on that,
reiterating
too.
the statute, the state statute trumps city ordinance.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can, unless, we can move on that without waiting on the 2 meetings a month.
I would ask everybody to read the ordinance and then read Courtney's feedback as
Yeah,
well.
'cause I was-
Just try to start the difference.
I was confused, and I would appreciate it if we can get Pat's involvement in that
Yeah.
also.
I think that would be, we should have everyone's input on this one, because it does affect all of us.
And our schedules, our Tuesday mornings.
No, again, this
I know.
proposal is about
Not being able to
allowing
cancel.
not allowing canceling meetings when they've been called.
Right.
So the state allows 3 aldermen called meeting. And it's just insane to think that a mayor could come in with a city ordinance and undo, I mean, think about it, there would be no point being able to call a meeting if somebody could just say, oh, it's canceled.
That's when it was
It's
Yeah.
canceled. But you use it.
But it's, I'm sure that.
Considering when it was
Decided.
conceived, I'm surprised too.
So that's what this is for, and that's what I'm asking everybody to vote for tonight. So I'm gonna make a motion that we accept it.
Yeah, like I said, I'd like to wait for Pat on that one.
That'll probably be morally sound.
I want to have, I've read through it, I just want to have all of us on to this. And then if that's the case, then we don't need to talk about going back to 1 meeting a month.
Well,
So
again, they're
also-
unrelated issues.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
I'm asking y'all to make sure she doesn't ever cancel one of our meetings again.
Yeah.
And I don't know why
We
we
don't
can't
have a
do that
second.
now.
It is unavailable, and I'll put it on the next meeting.
She will do it
She will
again.
have to.
So please, pass this ordinance. So I make a motion to pass it. If somebody will second it, I would appreciate it very much.
Because I'm gonna wait for Pat.
I will second.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
Okay, we're taking a vote. We got a first with William to approve, a second with Bill. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I really would like to have Pat weigh in on this, but we've passed things without some people here, so we can recall it if we need to. Aye.
Okay, so that passes 3-1. Number 16, discuss, consider, and act on determining agenda items to be placed on the future city council meeting agenda.
The only thing, I think Adam already mentioned that the Meadows flood study, or speed, was it flooded or speeding?
Just the detention mechanism that was, oh, you mean the
For the
speed,
med-
yes, that was gonna come back.
Okay, so it's the speed limit test or the speed results, speed limit results?
When are we gonna be ready to go?
Oh, there you are. I didn't see it, sorry.
Okay.
Well, I forget, because you said something and I'm thinking Meadows, or was it the runoff water, or was it the actual speed limit?
The Meadows was the speed limit, but
Okay.
I'm waiting to hear back some stuff from PD on that. And then the only other question is, based on their stuff, I need to talk to Courtney about it to see if the city has any play at all in this, because I believe it doesn't.
Okay.
Okay, so we haven't forgotten or anything, but there's just some information I need from PD from their monitoring devices.
Okay, because I wanted to still bring, because that was,
Yeah.
your speed limit thing was also kind of paired in with my change of 289 speed limit,
Oh, yeah.
north of town.
And just FYI, we talked to, just in case anybody wonders about TxDOT, and they reiterated, Eric would support me here, they reiterated it yesterday. There's a tendency, if you request a speed study from TxDOT, more often than not, the speed will stay the same or potentially increase.
Yeah.
So they did, so I can just tell you on the reduction on Preston, that will be hard to do, based on what we did here yesterday. Not saying you can't do it, there's processes.
Yeah.
But the Meadows, I'm not gonna predict what you're gonna find, but I think you're gonna find that the Meadows, and I need to work with Courtney, because I think there's probably, I think it's gonna end up that they could do a reduction. I think there has to be a mechanism for them to do it, but I would leave that to legal.
Okay, yeah, because I just want to make sure that we still keep on revisiting things. That
Yeah, we never
bring
let
to
them
us.
drop off. As the mayor says,
Yeah.
sometimes it does take us a little while to land the planes, but
Yeah.
I know.
Well, I mean, I'd still like to have it be brought to discuss about the 289 speed limit, because I know coming out, going towards your place, I don't know how many
Dave
times.
brought that up as far as coming up over that hill, and
Well, that, and we got those
everybody's
trucks.
doing 60 to 45 right there at the high school. that
Well, yeah,
seems to
Going
back off.
south into town, I know it's happened to a couple of us. You come up over that hill early in the morning, and all of a sudden there's the
Well,
school traffic, and you don't realize that there's
Right.
that. But then also the trucks that are coming in and leaving right there on the corner as you go up to BNSF. I've seen lots of cars, they're coming down and the trucks are still pulling out. Cars are either having to go off to the side or go around them.
They're going
Now-
70.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
TxDOT did say, and Dr. Enos is aware of this, dealing with the crosswalk issue, TxDOT did talk about that. So there is the ability to put in basically a flashing beacon.
Well, yeah.
That would be but that was new. I think when we talked, when Mr. Self was there, they really weren't open to a lot of those traffic controls, but at least they said, there is one. It's $10,000 to $15,000 to do it. So Dr. Enos is aware of that. I'm just saying at the crosswalk.
Yeah.
I know that doesn't affect speed limits, but
Yeah, because I mean, I'm more talking coming out of,
Massey.
Pat's not here, yeah, Massey, McConnell, coming out of the woods, coming out of your area. I mean, I've actually, 2 days ago, I had to go into Forney Fence property because someone was passing another car. And that's just me, and I don't even know how much other things happen to the residents there, but
I
just
believe,
coming out.
I believe it actually, one thing you can do as a city, so if the councils want to do it, you can ask TxDOT to do the speed study. they'll do speed studies.
I know they'll do
So,
stuff.
they'll-
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
I just
they
would
will
like to-
do it if we formally need.
I just would like to
speed
see if we can
study
talk to them and see if they can lower it from 60 to 50 and then go,
done.
you know, from,
We've already been there.
Yeah, I'm just telling you that's what, but they'll do it, but I don't think they'll touch it.
One thing I touched on over at Reed and also on Bounds, because there is no speed limit posted. It's 55.
Yeah.
No posted signs, it's 55. And so I've had a lot of the citizens over there complaining about the potholes, and I said, they're inverted speed bumps.
well, yeah, talk about that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's back on the
Thank you.
55, it'll be
Yeah.
5.5 is what we really do.
Somebody's gonna die on that.
Yeah,
Coming
so-
out of Massey or coming out of McConnell, one of those
That's
trucks.
a question, Courtney. Because I'm thinking about this is minor, going back to number 10. 4 people voted. How is, okay, 4 people actually voted. Abstaining is a vote. You're here, we've got a quorum. How is a 2-0?
So, according to Robert's rules, you have a quorum present, so you have a properly called meeting. The basic requirement for approval of an action or a choice, except where rules provide otherwise, and you don't have any rules because y'all rescinded the rules you had, is by majority vote. So the word majority means more than half. And when the term majority is used without qualification, as it is here because you have no rules, the basic requirement means more than half of the votes cast by persons entitled to vote, excluding blanks and abstentions. So you had 2 for and 2 abstentions. You had no negative votes,
Right.
therefore your vote was good.
So she's.
So you don't have to
That is not true. We don't use Robert's rules. There's no quorum and there's 2 abstentions.
In case of a tie.
We don't
We've
have.
never adopted Robert's.
It's not a
rules.
tie.
I understand, but.
So that is and you can decide right now if you want to follow that particular rule or if you want to.
We cannot decide right now
That's in
because it's
the
not on the
absence of
agenda.
rules.
We have to adopt those rules.
Since you don't
You
have.
can
In the
decide
absence
what
of
rule you
rules,
want.
the presiding officer.
We
You can
voted
decide.
last week to bring Courtney back for necessary legal stuff because Eric needed her. We never voted to
We
bring
all
her
need
back
her.
to
We need
meetings
her
to be
right
a
now.
hallminder again.
Clearly, we need her right now.
Didn't you bring up Robert's rules on another item?
Yes, and y'all turned it down.
So we're picking and
I
choosing.
told you it was
We're
gonna be
picking and
really
choosing.
complicated, but you can't just pick
I'm
five
asking-
there
I'm
and
asking-
use it whenever
I'm
you
just asking
want.
At
questions.
the end of the day, the state says I'm the presiding officer. We don't have any rules to negate it, so I don't understand why.
So why don't we just,
Just
let's just
presiding
table, let's
officer
table
doesn't
this,
mean
let's
things
table this for another day, which is what Wade was originally asking
We
for.
could fight.
Let's get Pat involved in
This
this.
minor.
voted.
Well, no, I was saying that for 15,
Well,
because Pat wasn't here, but I still voted, and that was 3-1.
Pat and I have discussed that.
So-
Yeah, no, we were both good with it.
I don't know, I just wanted to hear his
I don't wanna
statement
speak
on it,
for
but we already went through on that one, but on that one, I don't know Davita, I know she resigned and we accepted it, and then now she's wanting to come back into
And Eric
it.
told y'all that he wants her here.
So,
She's
The question is if enough
Quality.
people abstain, there's just not enough quorum to take the vote.
well, I mean, we're talking about a volunteer, reject a volunteer.
that Eric wants.
Well,
So-
are you
It's
guys trying
any-
to guilt me into changing
No,
my
it's
mind?
anybody who's
Well,
willing
that's
to.
what
They-
just
they
happened
stepped-
on the other one.
I understand
That's what
that,
we're
they
here
stepped
for.
away,
Is that not
and then
what
they
just
came
happened?
back.
Yeah.
Like,
That's exactly what just happened on the one before about the cancellation. So
That seems to be
if we're
the
done,
way we run
we're
this
gonna
town, is people
adjourn.
quit and come back.
Yep. We're
Yeah.
done, we're not
We're
getting
gonna
speed
adjourn.
bump stuff
Hold
on
on.
the thing.
No, I don't want to
you know.
adjourn yet.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I have a question, actually two for William. On 15, Pat sent me the wrong one. Would you send me the updated one? Because I don't have that.
So we just voted on something that's not even the updated
No,
version.
he sent me the wrong one.
So does that mean the wrong one's in the packet?
No.
Okay.
No, he sent me, like, when he attached them, it was the old one and not the new one. Oh, and then the other question is, at the last meeting, you said that you wanted to add an ordinance something I just remember, I just wrote down municipal officer ordinance or something, was that?
Maybe I was going on about the treasurer that I've been going on for 3 years that we don't have and never have gotten.
No, I was thinking of something else. I'll look at my notes when I get back, and then I'll forward it to you, and then we can add it for the next.
The treasurer, the person that could be looking at checks and making sure they're not being spent improperly.
Okay, we're gonna adjourn at 7:07.
I've got a bunch of stuff to put on. I'm not done.
You can always send it in.
I'm
You
not
can put
done. I want
anything
to
on the
say it in
agenda
public. I want to
at
make sure it
any
gets on the
time.
agenda. You did it again, Karen. I was
I
not
did.
finished. You don't get to call the meeting and just close it.